Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. So this is the continuation of the Palantir investment series. This is where I go through all of the investments that Palantir has made, try to better understand what these companies are doing, and ultimately make a conclusion if this investment is a win or a total L. What's important for me is all of these investments need to have a pathway to profitability for Palantir. The company is offering something very promising that's going to change the way we do things. And three, the company has to showcase its ability to survive, and if it does have a contract with Palantir, to be able to make payments for that contract. Because there's no point in entering any deal if the company is going to go bankrupt and they're never going to pay for any service agreements. So in the last video, we talked about cellularity. I concluded that it was a win because largely they are working on very innovative therapeutics that are going to address a lot of diseases that impact a lot of people. If you want to learn more about that, I'll put the link in the video so you can go see that. Now, today I'm going to get into Faraday Future. So what does Faraday Future do? Faraday Future is a company that's based on electric vehicles. You know, they were founded in 2014. They came up with a prototype in 2016. They revealed it in 2017, but they still didn't sell one car. Not yet, anyways. And they keep reiterating that they will sell their first car in July 2022, so summer 2022. So before I get into details, I went through their investment deck and I only picked what I thought was relevant, and it was this slide here. So in this slide, they talk about how Faraday Future and Palantir do have this partnership in the US and in the EU. The purpose is to jointly explore ambitious innovations across the value chain, FF vehicle programs to leverage Palantir's experience with leading manufacturers such as Fiat, Faurecia, Airbus, to accelerate the production ramp up and to drive down costs. We all know they definitely need to ramp up the production because they've been talking about it since 2016 and they still haven't sold a car yet. So they have been really reiterating July 2022, so they need to make that happen. They're going to use the IAI, not sure what that means, to leverage Foundry's unique analytics and modeling infrastructure to accelerate the delivery of leading edge capabilities such as autonomous driving. Obviously, not a lot of states or a lot of countries offer full autonomous driving, but everyone is working towards it until they get that full green light, and then they're going to start releasing their versions of autonomous driving. And the last point is enable partners across the value chain to join a growing ecosystem of data and analytics across the industry. Further, FF's goal is to create a new species, all-in-one car robot to transform the next generation of intelligent mobility ecosystems. Not sure what this means, but right now, it's kind of fluffy to me. So let's go into the details that I've gathered about Faraday Future that will kind of help us get a better understanding of what they're about and what they're doing. So the ticker, they trade on the NASDAQ. Ticker is FFIE. Headquarters is in LA, California, USA. It's actually about 15 miles from LA. They were founded in 2014, so they were founded about 8 years ago. Still no car. So it's founded in 2014, prototype 2016, revealed to a lot of people in the 2017 year. And since that time, it's just been a lot of hype, but no actual commercial vehicle sold. None. Zero. Zero. So what's the company's vision? Their vision is to create a shared intelligent mobility ecosystem that empowers everyone to move, connect, breathe, and live freely. How will they change the world? They aim to combat global warming by making ultra efficient EV vehicles that, apparently will sell for $180,000 US. So this is not for the average person. This is really tailored to upscale customers who drive, according to Barron's. Barron's is a, journal or a newspaper. They said that it felt like, they were in a Maybach or a Bentley. So it's, creme de la creme type of experience that Faraday is aiming to deliver with their vehicles. Now, the critics all say Faraday Future has still not produced a vehicle for sale, and they've been making promises since 2017. When are they going to eventually sell a vehicle? Now, the total addressable market, the EV market is huge. It's actually hard to measure how big it is. You can't really look at public companies because public companies are, some might argue that they're, overvalued. I'm not going to mention any names, but if one company can has a market cap of all the car companies combined, then trying to look at public companies is not a good indication. What I did do, because I know that the EV market is evolving, is I tried to look a bit into the future, especially because Faraday Future has still not even released a car yet for sale. I looked at where the markets are expected to be in 2030. So I scanned through two reports, one from Deloitte and the other from McKinsey. The numbers are a bit all over the place, but McKinsey estimates that by 2030 the Chinese market will have up to 9 million units sold of electric vehicles or battery electric vehicles. So if we give it a 40K valuation per vehicle, that's like a $360 billion market. Deloitte actually estimates 15 million units will be sold in 2030. So that's about 600 billion just in China alone. And obviously, why am I talking about China? Because Faraday Future is based in the US and in China. They have talent from the US and China, very competent people, very reliable people who know how to get things done, except for making a car and selling it. But they look like very competent people. I already went through their experiences. A lot of people from big companies like BMW, for the CEO, production manager, the recently hired production manager from Rivian, Ford. So, they have competent people, but they are struggling right now to get a vehicle out. But, we're in 2021, we're December 29th. We're, a few days away from 2022. And then in 6 months, it's July. So time flies. Now, let's look at the financials. Financially, there's not a lot to work with, and there's a lot of red flags. Being an auditor myself, it is alarming when a company cannot put up their quarterly financials on time with the SEC. In this case, Faraday did put notice or put the SEC on notice that their September 30th financial statements are not going to be uploaded on time, and they're not going to make the extension. And they're working on it. They're trying to work on their disclosures because they were criticized by a investor who has a short position on Faraday, and the investor said that the group Faraday Future, the old CEO, is a lot of fluff. He's been running the show since 2014, the old CEO, but he's stepped down recently to a lower position. But since 2014, they've gotten nothing done, and he has a questionable past. And what the short seller was alleging was that Faraday Future's reservation numbers, I think they said that there was 300 reservations that they had at 180,000 a pop, was misleading, and it wasn't really true. Because if you want to make a reservation for this vehicle, it's a $5,000 deposit. It's not a $100 deposit like you would see with Tesla, but it's a $5,000 deposit. So, this short seller is alleging that it's not true. So because of that, there was this big hoo-ha in the media, a lot of noise. But what Faraday Future did was they did have a investor conference in early December 2021, and they revealed some numbers. But these numbers, we have in front of us right now, it's all unaudited. It's not audited. You never had a CPA look at this and, substantiate that it's real. So this could all be a fugazi, it could all be, n'importe quoi. But we have to, let's just assume it's accurate. So based on the latest financials, what we do know is that Faraday Future has about $600 to $700 million cash following the SPAC process. They have total assets of 1.1 billion, or total liabilities of 350 million. So right now, their assets exceed liabilities, so that's good. They're not going to go bankrupt anytime soon. Revenues is zero. Operating income is actually in a loss position, so operating loss, $143 million loss for the 3 months that ended in September. They did say that a lot of this was because of wrapping up the manufacturing facility, getting things done. So this is the costs, and the net income is $280 million loss because of the operating loss, but also the fact that they went public. So a lot of people cashed out, a lot of liabilities, a lot of money that's owing to shareholders was recognized based on the financial instruments that they had before SPAC and then going public. So they had to recognize all those obligations, and all those costs are reflected in the P&L. Now, Palantir's investment in Faraday Future, $25 million. It's not a lot. If we go to the summary, $25 million for 2,500 shares, based on the share price of December 26th of about $5. Let's actually take a look right now. We can update that right now. It's at 484, or let's say 484. So 484. It is, they have a $13 million unrealized loss. $13 million lost based on the value that they invested in, $10. Now it's at 484, $13 million loss. So obviously it doesn't look good. Is there a Palantir Services deal? As far as I know, there is one, but it's undisclosed. No one knows the value. All we know is that it's about 4 to 6 years, but we don't know what the value is. It hasn't been disclosed anywhere. I think we would get that information once the Q3 results are released with the proper disclosures. Then we should be able to find that info, but right now it's not there. So the big question is, how does Palantir stand to profit? Now, Faraday has not produced one car, not even one. But Palantir is getting involved in Faraday Future's operations at a ground zero level. Operations haven't even really started, but they're involved from the very beginning. So what this tells me is that Palantir is going to be the foundational operation system for this whole manufacturing process, which is great, because that's what they're doing for Airbus. They're behind Airbus's manufacturing process, and they've driven a lot of efficiencies for Airbus. So the fact that Palantir is getting involved in Faraday Future's operations from the bottom up, it only means that the reliance that Faraday Future is going to have on Palantir if they survive, and if they stay profitable, is only going to increase as Faraday scales outwards towards operations, more vehicles, more employees, more supply chain challenges. So this is what they were alluding to in the slide. They're going to use Palantir to accelerate the ramp up and to drive down costs of non-quality. Quality is a huge issue. Whether it's from suppliers, when suppliers give you parts and the parts are in good quality, then either your production team is delayed because they can't install the parts right away, or you have to have someone come and fix the part, to try to get it to fit in, or to resolve the quality issue, or you have to send the part back and get a new one, or you have to take it off another vehicle that's further down the line and install it on this vehicle so you can advance in the process and then put it back on the other vehicle before it gets sold. I'm saying all of this because I was involved in a manufacturing facility and I've seen all the issues that you can have on the production floor. So with Palantir getting involved in this, they would be able to help Faraday identify supplier issues, identify the impacts of supplier issues, make claims with suppliers for those issues and the dollars that were lost. They would be able to help with identifying supply chain issues across the board, from the sub-tier supplier all the way to production. Now, if Faraday is getting involved with a lot of suppliers and a lot of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. So when I say tier 3, I'm saying the guys in the screws, the guys far away, but they all feed into a big part that Faraday orders. Now, if there's a lot of new companies getting involved, Faraday might even ask them, okay, you guys need to get integrated into the Foundry platform. And all of this builds an ecosystem for the EV world, especially if this product ends up being sold in July 2022, and it ends up being successful and it's being sold at $180,000 a pop, then this company is going to be here for the long run. And Foundry will be behind it. So I think this is where Palantir stands to really gain, but it's all up in the air. It really is. So let's go look at the news. Some of the news that I found. I'm doing a time check. What's time check right now? Okay, we're at 17 minutes. But so some of the news, in 2019, not really relevant, but the company was struggling financially. So they sold their headquarters and they leased it back. They used to be linked with Evergrande in China, one of the biggest real estate companies in China at the time, and they broke up in summer 2019. So, they do have some, deep connections with the elite in Hong Kong or the elite in China. So this is, this is something to remember. That's why you see a lot of Chinese professionals working at Faraday. Then here, a short seller alleges that, Faraday is a scam. I think this one's a good one to look at. Let's see if I can get it open. So here, okay, wait, let me just refresh this. All right, so here it says, Palantir-backed EV maker Faraday Future dubbed the new EV scam in town by short seller. This was done in October. So when Faraday was supposed to come up with their financials for September 30th, like a week later, someone alleged that they're full of shit. So if they're full of shit, these guys took a pause and they're like, okay, let's do damage control. I don't know, maybe they're just waiting for things to blow, for things to pass, and it's not true. But this is the short seller who wrote about Faraday. And he said, short seller at J Capital Research. So short seller alleges that China-based Faraday, I don't know why they said they're China-based, they're really LA-based, or they're based in both countries. So far, it's nothing but a bucket to collect money from U.S. investors and pour into the black hole of debt created by its founder, China's best-known securities fraudster, Jia Yuiting. Ann Stevenson Yang, co-founder of J Capital Research, wrote in her report. That's pretty savage. You know, she went straight at the former CEO. The company plans to restart its abandoned factory in Hanford, California. This is true. There's been so many videos of Hanford, California factory having its, oh, we're doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was on their YouTube video before, and you could see, like, where is it? You could see a lot of videos about, if we look at their playlist, maybe it would be a better way. Company updates. It's probably company updates. Oh, no. That's not it. But let's go to their home. I think you'll see it there because I remember seeing it and I was like, wow. So, company updates. So, you see here, 3 years ago, Hanford Progress, Hanford facility. Okay, that's 6 months ago. But you see 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. So, one step closer 3 years ago. So, these are what the short seller is saying here. Hold some weight. Like, yeah, now they're saying they're rebooting the facility. And then they say they're going to mass produce cars in just 7 months or, by July. Well, yeah, it's 7 months it makes sense because you're going to start deliveries in July. So October plus 3, yeah, 7 months, like May-ish. So the report alleges Faraday Future has gone back on its promises to build factories in 5 localities in the US and China and repeatedly delayed the 6th as well. Yang said she visited the factories and it's pretty quiet for something that's going to be mass producing. We doubt that the timeline will hold. 3 visits to the factory showed little activity. We expect Evergrande, Evergrande still owns 20% of this company and stands to gain more equity to sell off its shares as soon as lockup ends in January. So Evergrande still probably holds a good portion, so they're going to dump the shares in January because obviously they're having a debt crisis themselves. So, so these are the allegations. I mean, allegations, short seller allegations are always pretty fluffy. They just say, biggest fraudster, old CEO is not there anymore. He's, chief product officer now. But regardless, the truth is everybody's saying the same thing. Like, what is taking them so long to come up with the vehicle? So this was the following news that came, in November, saying, well, following allegations that they're gonna work on the financials and make sure all the disclosures are perfect before they're posted publicly, because now Faraday Future is going to be announcing their first public financial statements to the world to scrutinize. So they went public quickly and they just want to make sure that everything's done properly. I get it. But I'm just kind of disappointed. Like, you should have had the right people behind the scenes already to make sure that you're getting all this information out in a timely manner. But it is their first quarterly report and they're late. Okay, fine. Maybe I can look the other way. So in this article in CNBC, some key takeaways, like they mentioned that, the former CEO, he declared bankruptcy and now is chief product and ecosystem officer at the company. And I guess it makes sense because this guy has been involved in the product since the very beginning. So you can't just cut him loose. He is, quote unquote, the mastermind behind the product. So the PR that came out in November 2021, talks about how they missed their deadline. And, they're still on track to deliver the F91 to users in July 2022. And then, they had a video on the manufacturing facility. So what I found interesting, though, and it kind of turned me off, like, in a big way, was in the investors conference. Where is it? Is it here? Yeah. So this is, this was released. They had a conference at 1 p.m. December 7th. What really surprised me, and I felt like, they're trying to bite off more than they can chew, is when the CFO mentions here, I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, you know, how do you not have the courage to say this was kind of stupid to try to even attempt this? But here he says, we have revised our estimate for additional funding that we will require to reach. So they need extra funding to reach profitability and cash flow by 2024. So they're not going to be profitable or generate positive cash flow until 2024. So another 2 years. But they said that they will need an additional 1.5 billion in additional funding, up from previous estimate of 1.4. This capital will be used to fund the FF81 and FF71. Bro, are you kidding me? Like, first focus on selling FF91. First focus on making and selling FF91 before you start another program. Like, I get it. I get that the FF91 is supposed to be your luxury product that helps generate cash flow so you can go into the lower tier markets. But I just find it ridiculous that they even have the courage to publicly announce that, yeah, we need another 1.5 billion because, we're already thinking about building the next cars and we still haven't started this one that's been in the pipeline for like six years. So that kind of was it was very discouraging for me to see. But I do understand also that, market for $180,000 cars is not that huge. It's not. It's really not. But they need to be a bit more responsible as to how they do things. Like, you already missed your Q3 filings. You're late with the SEC. You've been, pushing the sale of the FF91 for like years. You still haven't delivered your first car. And you're already telling people like, yeah, we need more money because we're thinking about the FF81 and 71. Like, it's irresponsible and it's very amateurish in my opinion. And clearly, these people don't have good advisors or the right head on their shoulders, or people are just too, they don't have the courage to say, relax, maybe we don't need to go down this path yet. Let's focus on making a successful FF91 program first before even trying to build out the tooling or the manufacturing facilities to do the FF81 or 71. So having said that, let's take it back. For Palantir, is this a good investment? I want to say that there are probably a lot more better companies that are in the startup phase that seem more promising and not as capital intensive that Palantir could have got invested in. But then again, those companies do not have $1 billion in assets. They're a lot smaller. So their time to ramp up might be a while. And if this program is successful, the FF91, it's a commercially successful product, then Palantir would have a lot to gain from that. But I still feel that this 25 million could have been invested in another company. The management integrity, former CEO being, having a questionable past. Now it's still the chief product officer, back-to-back delays. Even though it seems promising, with all of that considered, they still don't have any revenues and they're still asking for more funding. Even if Palantir does have a deal on the table, I feel like maybe it would not be honored and they would just cancel. They'll just say, oh, sorry, we're broke. So having said all of that, I think this investment, although it's, very appealing, it's very sexy, oh yeah, luxury market, I still think it's an L. It's a loss. I don't agree with it. And if I was there, I would have not been a cheerleader for this deal. So let's go update that in my nice little table here. It is a loss. Now, I'm going to continue on my journey to discuss other stocks. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can always follow. Now, if you're curious and you don't have time to look at Faraday Future, I did find some good videos that I thought was interesting that we could watch together, and then I'll wrap up the video. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate you, and feel free to share, and feel free to leave your comments if you want me to focus on anything else in particular when it comes to Palantir. And yeah, let's get started on these videos.
The present is delicate. Each moment more valuable than the last. I'm here to assist you. Your desires will be used as inspiration. Allow me to light the way. Together, we'll build an ecosystem. Tech luxury evolving over its lifespan. Ultimate intelligence that understands each user and adapts accordingly. A destination during your journey. Created to elevate the human experience.
I mean, it's just like, who are these women? There's like random women showing up in this video. It's kind of sexist that there's no guys in here, but whatever.
And make our collective vision of the future a reality. Introducing a new species and the arrival of advanced mobility.
Okay, the vibe in the back is pretty nice. It feels like a private jet. The way the seats go down, so I think the whole experience is in the back seats. Just like how Barron's, said it gave that Maybach or Bentley vibe. It's all about being driven around and not really driving yourself. But I could see how it's a upscale experience.
Welcome to FF91. Welcome to Faraday Future.
So that was interesting. So you kind of get a vibe for their flagship vehicle, the FF91, what it looks like, what it feels like. Okay, so this was a video that they put out in 2018 saying one step closer. Alright, so that's all I need to see, because I've seen enough manufacturing videos about companies hyping themselves up. But so you can see, they started a facility, they're redoing the interiors, whatever. Okay, that's nice. So let's go to, okay, does the vehicle actually drive? So this is interesting.
Pretty exciting day today.
This is CEO.
Beautiful FF91 all the way from Los Angeles, where we are right now, down to Las Vegas, and obviously without charging.
Hold on. Yeah, okay. So they were about to charge Tesla, but they said no. we don't mess with Tesla. Forget that. Okay.
Okay, we are there finally to Las Vegas here. I'm really excited and happy. And just to let you know, we still have more than 100 miles of range.
Nice. So this is came out in February 2020. So last year, I guess it's homage to Nikola, rest in peace, that apparently didn't have any real vehicle that moves. So let's look at this. This is the manufacturing update that they shared in the PR, saying, "Oh, look at our latest milestone. Look at how things are going." So
which is our vehicle assembly, powertrain, and end of line, as well as our exterior painting. So we have kicked off this particular part of the project. We're meeting all of our milestones to date. Additionally, behind me, you'll see the beginning of milestone number 4, which is the start of our pre-production build. It's 30% complete. The operators are slow building it. If you recall, we did a video on the painting, which was the first production vehicle that we painted in our Hanford facility. We've wrapped that vehicle up. We're in the process of putting all the wiring harnesses in, building up the doors, building on the front end module.
So, I mean, I love that you can see these details, but this is what happens in a manufacturing facility. The vehicle moves from station to station to station, and you have a team of staff that are adding components, doing things, fixing issues maybe from the prior station, because cars have to keep moving. And this is where quality control becomes an issue, where labor efficiency becomes an issue. If someone drills holes the wrong way, that part is scrapped now and it has to be redone. So then it becomes a question of training. Is it the same employees having the same issues? So there's a learning curve. There's so much that goes on behind a manufacturing facility that, trying to ramp up for a new program within 6 months, like, it's easy to do if it's like it's the same drive terrain and you're going to say, okay, we have a four-door car and now it's a coupe, 2-door car. That's easy. Those are easy adjustments to do. But when you're going from scratch and you want to go 0 to 100, that's a big challenge, especially, I cannot stress this, especially if you're trying to sell a $180,000 car and you want to give 100% satisfaction for your customers. You do not want to mess this up. So, I mean, let's keep going.
As we march to have this vehicle complete. We're getting ready to pour the concrete in our Building B foundational area. We just met with the contractors to verify everything is in place from a standpoint of the footings. You can see behind me is a pretty large area that will have the concrete poured. Next week we'll start pouring the walls for the spray booths. You can see far behind me we already have pads for the booth prep areas for dip tanks.
And we will implement our Faraday look and our Faraday colors by the end of it. This project is going to take about a month to get completed, and once we will have a brand new exterior to match our Faraday project.
Updates.
Yeah, so that's cute. But as you can see, the facility, I think maybe they had some funding issues 3 years ago and now it's coming back to life. It is really section by section, and who knows, maybe when the short seller went, it was Thanksgiving, or, they laid the concrete and they were waiting for it to dry, and who knows. So let's see what this is. Some kind of a cool car thing. Yeah, this is nothing. So here, 626 sets of equipment on the way. Okay, so this is fresh. This came out yesterday, the 28th. So you and me are gonna watch it for the first time. Less than 1,000 views, so not a lot of people saw this. Let's look at it. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, it goes without saying, you know, this is obviously highly technical equipment. But again, you know, if I was to be cynical, it's just a video of robot arms. Could be for anybody. Could be for any company, any process, and these guys are just sharing it, saying, yeah, you know, check it out, we got robots. And the reason why I'm so cynical is because I just need results. Start putting out results. Stop the fluff. You know, I like that manufacturing update where they show work being done, but like, you know, let's cut the fluff. Let's get to actual tangible results. Let's see some real cars. Let's see some real drivers. Let's see comments from drivers who bought the car. What are their feedback, etc. Until then, I'm still going to say my, you know, Palantir's investment, not my, well, it is my investment because I invested in Palantir. Palantir invested in Thing. But I would say it's a flop. But, you know, this can change. This can easily change. In 6 months, I can circle back and say, this is going to be a great investment. But right now, I just don't see it. But I'm optimistic, and I'm optimistic by nature. But right now, this is an L. It's a no-go for me. So now I'm going to jump back into the other companies. There's so many to do, but I will sign off for this video. This video really hit 42 minutes. I didn't expect it to take this long, but since it was going to be a negative, or, you know, I was going to declare that it was an L, I really wanted to elaborate on why I thought it was an L. Check out my Celularity video. You'll see why I think that's a major win, why I think it's very promising, because they're going to change the world if they can pull off what they want to do. And, you know, I did fix my sound. Before, my sound was absolute trash. So thank you for everyone that subscribed. Despite the audio being trash, you know, I know you appreciated the content, so much love to you. And, you know, if you have any questions, concerns, leave a comment below. Like, dislike the video. You know, I will use your feedback to continue to improve. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one on Astrocast. See you.